Good morning. We have another request video. Somebody was asking about a sea turtle. So that's what we're going to do today. I'm starting out with a t-shirt that has been soaked in soda ash. It's been spun out and right now it's slightly damp. That's how I like to tie the sea turtles. It's slightly damp. It just makes it easier for folding. I'm working just on the front of the t-shirt, so I've centered it and pulled just the front out. So this here is the center line right down the front of the t-shirt. I do have a video on centering a t-shirt called How to Center a T-shirt for Tie-Dye. So for the turtle, what I did was made myself a template. Any of the designs that I feel like I'm going to do more than just one time, I like to make a template for them. So what I've done is I just have these plastic cutting boards that you get from the dollar store. There's two for $1. They come in size 11 by 14. So it gives you plenty of room, and then your stencils are reusable. They're not going to, if you use paper, it gets soggy, and this isn't anyway. So I have my sea turtle, and you can then lay your design on there. You can arrange the legs where you want them to. I guess it's not too easy to see these, but anyways, then I use a washable marker. I like to use a dark colored one. Oh, I'm also working on the inside of the t-shirt. That's how I like to do it, just so that if anything doesn't wash out, it's going to be on the inside. But I use a washable marker and I'll draw this out. And I like to use a dark color because I'm going to flip this over and I want to be able to see this color from the outside, from the other side, so that I can draw these same lines. If you can't quite see it, you can hold it up to a window, or if you have a light board, that works also. But you want to make sure you get the design drawn on both sides. I'll show you a couple methods of how I fold it, and like I say, one of them you'll need to see the design on the other side. So there's my sea turtle to start with, and I'm going to flip this over. And yeah, I know you probably can't see it on the video, but I can see these lines here. So I'm going to draw this, and if I lift it up I can see through the light here where my line is. Okay, there's the body. Get these legs drawn in. Okay. And I keep lifting it up to let the light shine through so I can see where my lines are. Okay, so there's my sea turtle on front and back. So to start with, I'm going to fold the body, and I'm just going to do accordion fold. So I'll usually just start, doesn't matter, you start top or the bottom. But I like to line this up so that as I'm folding these little accordion folds, I can line these lines up and I have the shirt coming towards me. So I just keep twisting it around. So the next fold here, let's zoom in just a little bit. So I try to line my lines up right on top here. So the next fold, I like to be able to just lay it flat down, pick that up. If it's coming in at an angle, then it doesn't line up and your line starts to go crooked. You want to try to stay nice and straight across the top there. So let's see if I can get my hand out of the way. And then as you go around corners, you'll just have to kind of twist the fabric so that it lays down flat. So some of the creases are going to look just a little bit funky, but you want to do that so that your line goes straight down over the side here instead of off at an angle. and that just allows you then to create your next crease. So we'll get back on folding this. So I usually just reach under, pick up that piece, lay it down. Sometimes your lines will go a little bit funky, but you can just straighten them out there. So you're just going to go all the way along. Until you get all the way to the tail. Okay. And then my method of choice for tying this up is using kite string. It holds it tight, but I don't want it super tight like with sinew. Although you can, if you like a nice white outline around your turtle, the next thing I would do is tie this up tight with sinew. But then since I'm working with a damp t-shirt, I'd want to let it sit and dry. Anytime I use sinew, I like to have a dry t-shirt, but this fold is much easier when it's damp. So I'm going to wrap some kite string around there to hold that in place. Usually do a couple wraps on there, and then I'll tie that off. And that's going to be the body, the head, and the tail of the turtle. Cut that string. And then for these other ones, let's zoom back out here. The other ones, they're a little bit trickier. So you gotta kind of reach into these folds because it's right close to the body there. And I see if I can get that top of part of the leg there. Gather it up. And this is, like I say, one of the methods is just kind of scrunching that leg up in there, and then when you tie that off, since I drew the line on the other side, I'll be able to see that leg there. So you do the same thing here. Just kind of make sure you have all of your lines visible. Sometimes you have to reach underneath and kind of poke that line up. And once you have it, then you scrunch it, or you can do little accordion folds just to line the legs up. And then what I'm going to do is scrunch up around this, tie this off, and then that will be my turtle. The main thing is as you're scrunching this up, you don't want to lose track of your lines. So I'm just going to do just kind of a gentle scrunch around here. And then I'm going to gather the t-shirt up over here. So I'm just kind of twisting around to leave this area. So my 2 feet are in there. And then I'll tie that off. This here is just a quick and easy method. And using the kite string kind of helps with this because you can wrap it in different fashions. The main thing is you want to make sure, even as you pull this string tight, that you don't lose track of your lines. And then after I'll do is I'll flip this over. Well, let's set that off to the side here. and make sure on the other side you still have your lines. And I also use a cuticle pusher. That's a nice little metal tool here. It helps me get in there, find all my little creases. And then I have my dyeing lines here. So I would finish tying this off and then wrap it up. The other method for doing the turtle would be to randomly gather those folds up. So I'm just gonna start over. So that's one method, all done. Okay, so the second method then would just be a matter of getting all of these lines on your foot. Since it's not symmetrical, you can't just fold it in half and fold it, but you can work it around. So I'm just going to start at the top of the leg here next to the body, and I'm just lining the lines up from this side. Let's zoom in a little bit here. So we'll flatten that back out. So I'm just starting up at the top part right next to the body here. This is where I tied off the body, and then I'm going to start with that part of the leg, and I'm just lining the line up and then working so that the top side of the leg and the bottom side of the leg, both of those lines are even, and that just means matching them up, and part of the t-shirt is going to be wadded up a little differently, but you just go along both sides of the leg until you get all the way down to the end. So this here just takes a little bit more maneuvering. I don't know if you can see that, but I have the leg line lined up here, and then I got about the same height on this other side here. And then this is something you can tie off with kite string, or you can tie it off with sinew. I'm going to use kite string on mine. So this here is just giving you the general idea of where that leg is, so that you know where to put your dye on for it. And you just have to kind of play with this back and forth until you get it lined up the way that you want it. It might give you just a little bit of a funky shaped leg, but you'll have it. And each turtle then will be unique. So I'm just tying this off. Snip that one. And then we'll do the same thing on this one here. Is just get all of your lines there, and just start at one point up here at the top, kind of doing a accordion fold, and then you're just matching them up on either side of the leg here, your lines. I don't know if you guys are seeing all of that. Sorry about that. So I just bringing this leg up so that I can see both sides of the leg and lining it up until I have a nice little wad there, and the lines are about the same on both sides. And then we'll tie that one off. Alrighty. And if you want to get really fancy, the other way you can do it, of course, is stitching, where you just draw that out stitch around each thing, pull the strings tight, and you would have it. I do have an intro to stitching video on the pot leaf. So I think it's called How to Tie-Dye the Stitched Pot Leaf or something, but that's the one. So now for the rest of the t-shirt, I'm just going to scrunch this up because I'm going to dye it in various blues so that we have it look like the ocean, and the turtle will be dyed in a couple shades of green. So just kind of scrunch everything up. And then tie it off here. And then the last thing that I'm going to do is scrunch up the body a little bit. See if we can put a little bit of texture in it. Okay, so now we have the turtle, 2 legs. And we're going to scrunch this up just a little bit, and then I'll put a little bit of texture in him. Like I say, I'll dye the turtle in 2 shades of green. So I'm just wrapping the turtle up here. And then I'll stop this video and we'll start a new one, and then I'll put the dyes on. So we'll do this in 2 separate videos. So there is your sea turtle ready for dyeing. Thank you for watching. Please give my video a thumbs up if you like it and you want to see more.